And we are live! Woohoo! We're not good. Welcome to the latest episode of Geek Talk. We are so excited to be back. We are here joined by, sorry I had to mute that, joined by your usual host with our very special guest tonight. So why don't we go around, introduce ourselves. We'll save our special guest for the end. I am Johnny Tez, the Hyper Geek. I am your space for everything crazy and nerdy and out there. If you want to see somebody yelling at you about literally anything, it's pretty much me. You can find me at the Hyper Geek on YouTube, at the Hyper Geek on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook. Just look this up. This little bar right here. Look that up. Let's go ahead and toss it over to my partner in crime, Mr. Rusty.
Yes, my name is Rusty. I am Your Average Techie. You can find me on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at Your Average Techie. And like Johnny, me and my wife, sometimes my kids, mostly myself. I do unboxing, sub boxes, pops, of course, and everything in between, just geeky and nerdy, and we love it. And yeah, so we're going to throw it on over to the Beardy Nerd.
Hey guys. So, hey, I make videos on YouTube about boxes, and that's what I do. The end.
Yes.
I feel like we should have strung that out a little bit longer to have him just crouching underneath your camera for a bit.
I was crouching for a long time. My knees are starting.
And we are super excited to welcome our special guest for this episode, Glenn, the middle-aged kid. Please introduce yourself.
Hey there, guys. Again, I'm Glenn. I'm the middle-aged kid. Past couple years on YouTube, I've been doing subscription boxes, Funko Pop reviews, that kind of stuff. Lately, though, I've decided to start my own subscription box, so that's kind of taken up a lot of my time over the past month and a half or so. So getting back into the YouTube stuff this week, but been taking a little break, but now I'm ready to get back to it. And I'm exhausted. So other than that, you can find me in the various places, Mac Videos on Twitter and all over the place otherwise. Also at the Hero Stash, which is the name of my subscription box.
Yes.
Awesome. I feel like we're all kind of exhausted. Like it's just one of those days. Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, this is my last day of vacation. I go back to work tomorrow.
Yeah, so then the real exhaustion kicks in. I got my iced coffee to go here, though. So, a couple of quick things. As always, we have the chat going. We have some really awesome people already in the chat. Please chat away, get to know each other. Let us know your thoughts. We will be going around making sure that we catch any questions towards the end and things like that, because y'all always come up with some really great ones for us. So please let us know your thoughts. Giving some haze there to, we have Chris Green, British Greeky Guy, Stephen Higgins, Miss Fairy, Graham Rule, Collector Core, and New York Nerd, all in the chat so far. So welcome, folks. Glad to see y'all. But I think it'd be very cool to get started if we can see Glenn tell us a little bit about Hero Stash.
All right. Well, the Hero Stash is kind of a project that has been in the works for a couple of months. I'm sure most of you remember the Hero Crate box that was around for a good year or so. That kind of went under a few months ago, something like that. They had the Hero Crate, the Villain Crate as well. And so when they kind of went under, kind of looked at that as, well, you know what? I talk about boxes all the time. I get a lot of people that say, well, Glenn, why don't we see what you would come up with a box? So it's kind of a lark. It's become a bit of a bigger lark than I thought it would be. So I decided, hey, let's kind of take the ideas that I've liked and I've seen and kind of see what I can come up with for a box. So that's kind of where that came from. So we focus on an individual character, particularly a hero every month. This is our first month. and this month is Spider-Man, which I'm glad we did a little bit earlier than Collector Core deciding to do Spider-Man for August, because that would have been a little bit dodgy a month ago if they'd announced it. But anyway, so we're shipping out right now. Again, we're starting out small. I put a strict limit on it just to kind of see what we could come up with, and so I'm excited to do that. And you know, I learned a lot of things about running an online business and running a subscription box. And you know, we'll see how it goes, and you know, it's kind of our trial period.
Very cool. I think it's really interesting. You said that after like Hero Crate kind of closed up. Has everybody here tried Hero Crate when they were in business?
Yeah.
I didn't. I stayed away from it because I watched unboxings, especially from Beardy, and I stayed away from Hero Crate. I know Villain Crate kind of got a little better rating than Hero Crate did, but it went down quickly too. So
That is very up and down. I don't know about anybody else, but you know, they have some, and then just completely bottom out for a few months there. So.
But I like the concept of it. I always like that. Their execution wasn't the best, but I like the idea, like you said, of having like one specific hero because you really know what you're getting. So even if it's not the best as far as like value and quality, at least it's someone you really like. So I did like that idea, and that's why I kept going back to them, hoping that it would get better. But you know that they just didn't do it the best, which is it kind of makes sense why they died off a little bit. But I like the idea, so
yeah. Glenn, I know you said off air with us that you had a different sense coming from being a YouTuber and having opinions about sub boxes to now doing your own sub boxes. Can you give us a little insight on that, like, you know, what transition you made and how that's gone about?
Well, a great example, I guess, would be, because we're talking beforehand about Funko in particular, and you know, our attitudes kind of evolve with Funko, it seems. You know, where it's kind of a love-hate relationship with a lot of people.
Sure.
But you know, when you're trying to get product to fill boxes and you're trying to get things that are different, you really learn what the companies are that really want to support you and really want to make an effort, whether you're buying $100 worth of stuff or $5,000 worth of stuff. And Funko, for me, even though I've been kind of irritated as a consumer from time to time, they've been such a great company to work with. Out of all of the vendors and that's a whole nother issue. And I have a whole laundry list of things that I can tell you as far as getting a subscription box started and the difficulties you have. But vendors are one of the hardest things to come around. You know, especially in a business like this that, you know, is fairly new. I mean, it's been around for a while now, but you know, you don't have companies that are hearing from new subscription boxes very often. So Funko, I have a different perspective on them now because they've just been so great to us as far as their reps and everything, and getting product out to me super quick, comparatively speaking. So it's those kind of different perspectives that you kind of learn as you're putting this stuff together yourself.
Nice.
interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I was telling Rusty early on, I'm not going to get involved anymore in Funko conversations because I just tend to derail the whole thing when I do. But yeah, it certainly seems that way from the way that they, you know, work with other boxes and stuff like that. You mentioned that there were some other things you could say about other vendors or things you've learned so far. I mean, it's just super interesting. We've talked with other box creators, but never really in that position. So, I mean, any other insights you could give us?
Well, first, a little more background. You know, we keep it small. It's a family business. It's not something that, you know, we didn't have a Kickstarter to get us going. We didn't have seed money, that kind of thing. This is just something that, you know, we're doing to see where it goes and to see if I can come up with something that people like. That's the important thing to me. So, you know, when you're starting that kind of thing, there's a lot of things you really don't think about. And the first part is starting as early as frickin' possible. You know, time is just such a difficult thing as far as when people are going to sign up for the box, when people are going to pay you, when you're going to start putting things together, and then when you're going to start shipping. It's a very tight window, and if you don't start a lot earlier than you really conceive that you need to, you're really going to run into problems. And that's kind of what we came up with. First of all, the business side of it, the super boring part. That it's like, oh, let me register with this agency, and all the stuff that you would do for a regular business. That stuff is so freaking boring, but it's stuff that you got to get done early.
Yeah.
We're talking about the vendors. It's been 6 weeks basically, or so, between contacting companies, ordering product, and getting it. There's still half a dozen vendors that I really wanted to get on board with that haven't even responded, that haven't even gotten back to us, regardless of emails and phone calls and things like that. So that's probably the most frustrating part. Is you see this item and you really want it, and one thing you don't want to do is, I don't want to go to a wholesaler like Entertainment Earth and purchase these things, because they have a markup too. You want to go directly to the vendors, right? So exactly. Having them not even respond to you, and they want to sell their product, that's always weird to me. That the more hoops you have to jump through, the less thrilled I am about the company, because they want to get that product out there. But it's all about doing stuff really early. If I had it to do all over again, 3 months ago I would have started contacting vendors just to get it out today. I mean, it wouldn't have been a 6-week thing. It would have been a long, long time ago. So, there's basically 3 things. There's vendors, there's marketing, and there's shipping. Those are the 3 main things that seem to crop up. Marketing, you have to be all over it. You have to be on top of, posting once a week on Facebook isn't going to do it, right? You got to be all over, really getting your name out there. And, the way I've seen it is, after your first couple boxes, if you're doing well, then word of mouth helps a lot with that. But it's that initial kind of marketing that's tough to keep up with. We're again, we have full-time jobs. We're not, I didn't get an angel grant or anything like that to kind of quit my job and put this stuff together. So it's something that you have to just take the extra time to do. And then the shipping part. Shipping has been our biggest hurdle, I think, to getting the amount of boxes that we want to get, just because shipping's a challenge. You don't get deals. If you're not Loot Crate, if you're not Nerdblock, you're not getting these bulk deals to be able to ship overseas or across the country for a decent rate, and then you're having to fold those into your price, and then it becomes a value concern when those boxes go out. So we've learned a lot of things. There's a lot more to learn, and but for the most part, it's been fun. The fun part has been, curating and getting product and packing the boxes and making it a family affair. That's been the fun part. But, there's been some speed bumps along the way.
Speaking on the timing issue, and you saying that you would have started it a lot further ahead, when we had Russ Montague on, the one of the co-founders of Nerdblock and CEO, he told us that. He specifically told us that they start searching for items and find their theme for that box 6 months to a year ahead of time. And so, this year's boxes have all been done last year. They already knew what was going to go out, and so that was one thing that he hit with us that stuck with me. Was that you have to have some forethought into a box, and you have to kind of know what's out there and what might be big or what might hit in a box, and go for that way beforehand.
And there's a couple of things. I'm glad you mentioned that, because one of the features that we want to put out there that's a little bit different is we want to let the audience choose the particular heroes from time to time, whether it's every month or we've got the first couple months planned out, but starting in the 3rd month, we're going to have polls out there. We're going to kind of see where the wind blows as far as what people want. So that's kind of a feature that was important to me, because I thought it would be cool, to have the subscribers and the geeky community in general be able to say, you know what, choosing between these 4, I'd love to see a Batman box, which is probably coming down the line because that's our first poll out there. Versus whatever. That way, there's some ownership in the company from everybody else. You know, we're one of the boxes I really look up to is Big Old Box of Stuff. That's a very custom box, right? That ours isn't as custom as that. You know, we have some set items, and then we vary the items in the boxes otherwise. So there's a certain level of variety in our box. It's not a true custom box, but I like the handmade kind of feel for that box, where, you know, it's not on a production line, you know, going through. I just like that, you know, going down. You know, we were subscribing to Loot Crate, what, 3 years ago now, something like that, and you know, it's very assembly oriented, and that's great. I like the idea that I open a box and I look at it and I say, oh, well, that's neat that they used this filler, you know, this packing, this it looks different. They drew on the box, you know, things like that. So trying to kind of go in that direction to kind of give the feel that you know, a lot of boxes are going to be different and they're going to be specially put together. So as I ramble, I forget the original question, but you know, again, it's all about timing, and you were saying about planning boxes out. Yes, and it's such a tight window, and turnaround times are long too. You know, even if I do get with a vendor, I've talked to a certain number of vendors, and yeah, if you order 500 pieces from us, you know, well, you'll get it in 3 or 4 weeks. 3 or 4 weeks. You know, that's really cutting it close on getting boxes out. And, you know, it's not the type of box where I can just, when I'm out and about, I can find things to buy. It just doesn't work that way. So, you know, we're getting the timing down and kind of balancing out features and things like that to kind of try to get the boxes out, you know, as quick as we can.
It really wonder, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, some of the new starting companies, are you guys getting bad echo?
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
What is that?
Does anybody have the chat up? I have it up, but my YouTube is paused.
I don't have anything.
Me neither.
You have sexy glasses, according to Devin.
Should I leave and come back?
No, you sound good.
I sound good?
No, you don't. I lied.
Okay. Is it audible? Can you understand me?
Oh, that's better.
Okay, we're good? Okay, that was weird. Anyway, like I was saying, I was recommending that some of the newer companies considering a bi-monthly thing, only because, you know, I don't really know who decided that it should be monthly, basically because, like, magazine subscriptions are, so it made sense, but it really doesn't make sense for the exact things that Glenn was saying, and I've noticed talking to these companies, a month turnaround time is just too short of a time. And there's no standard that says, you know, these have to be every month. Like, if it was a standard to be bi-monthly, it wouldn't really change anything, and that would make everyone's boxes better in quality, especially starting out. Because like you said, it's no one's fault. It's just these vendors take a long time, and that's just standard business. It's hard for them to get out products to every single person. So to span it out like bi-monthly or even quarterly or something like that, people would still like it. They'd be that much more excited to get it because it comes less often. The quality would be better. The value would be better. It just seems like a win-win all around. But at some point, everyone feels the pressure to make it monthly when they really don't need to. I don't know if that would affect like sales at all, having it less often, but it just seems like a better idea. Now that Funko did it, and I was against it, but now that I'm starting to see it more, it just seems to make more sense to do it less often.
That's a great point, because I always think, hey, I'll wait for the box longer. Have it be awesome when I get it. So that's definitely something, you know, we've been kicking around. Another thing that we don't want to do is we don't want to get in, just financially from a behind-the-scenes standpoint, we don't want to get into a situation where we're backloading, buying too much in anticipation of 2 months down the line. So, you know, I don't want to, you know, build this big credit account with Funko, let's say, to be able to buy 400 pieces for 2 months from now when I don't know how many boxes I'm going to have, right? So, I mean, this month, for instance, I've got one item that I've got an extra 40, you know. So, and, you know, you're talking about a box that's a singular hero box. I've got 40 of an item that I'm really not going to use again for a long time.
Yeah.
So that extra lag time would be very beneficial, and I appreciate that, Court, because that's just going to the front of my mind right now, because that, the stress of putting it out. I mean, really, it's not even a month window. It's 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Because in the time that people are ordering your box, you know how many boxes you have to send out, and the time you need to start packing them and shipping them out, 2 or 3 weeks. So very short turnaround. But having that extra 4 weeks would make a huge difference. So,
and the same thing, having extra of an item, like there's all these rules and standards that they have for monthly boxes that don't need to be there. Like having extra, like you did the box for that month, having an extra 40, make another 40 boxes and say, hey, we have some left. If you happen to have seen that box and liked it, come back and buy it. Everyone thinks that they have to like get rid of their extra stock. There's no rule that says that it has to be sold that month. If you have extra boxes, sell those boxes. Funko does it all the time. They have a lot of them, and they just sell them.
It doesn't even have to be the next month. Like 3 months from now, hey, remember that first box?
Yeah.
We had a limited number available. And they do back boxes all the time. You see that. You see that from Loot Crate as well. The challenge comes from having too much of one thing and just enough of another.
Oh, I see what you mean.
And to try to balance, to create a whole box to sell later, we have to. It's like you can never get to the right level where you don't have a lot of extra product on hand. But
I got you.
And that's what they do with their like one-off random mystery boxes. It's one of this from this box, one of that from this box, one of this from there, so that they can pop it all together and get that out there for sure.
Kind of a best of 6 months from now, something like that.
Yeah.
Going on Courts bi-monthly, I mean, from a consumer standpoint, I know at least for me, I enjoy those boxes more. Not only that, but it's less out of my pocket. I don't have to pay every single month. I get that, bi-monthly. And again, like you said, it's that much more time that they can spend on the items they're putting in the box, on the thought process behind it, cultivating a really tight theme where it's not like all over the place. So yeah, I dig the bi-monthly boxes. I really like those. On a different note, and it's kind of going back to what Glenn was saying. I don't know if y'all have seen this, but the topology of the sub-box game has kind of changed even since our last Geek Talk. I would say if you asked us 6 months ago who you thought the best boxes were, the top 2 would have been in there for sure. But now you have boxes like Bobos creeping in. You have Bam Box, which is super new. I mean, they've been 6 months, but Bam Box to me is my favorite box right now. So yeah, I mean, if you took a poll, I bet on average the top 2 wouldn't be there. They wouldn't be top 2 for everybody in everybody's opinion, even though they still are consistent most times, and they still do they have exclusives and things like that. It's like Glenn was saying, the personability of like Bobos, where they kind of handpick everything for you. I think that's what people are leaning towards. I don't know. What do y'all guys think?
Well, you know why it's changed so much, and this is something I've learned recently, and this is the good and bad thing about it. It's going to be constantly changing. I always say this, there's this like sweet spot for a box to be at. If they're a new company, like you said, it's hard to get exclusives, it's hard to get value, it's hard to get like wholesale stuff. It's just difficult. But when you get a certain spot in popularity, you can do those things. And now you can get exclusives, and they're rare because not that many people have it. Then the box gets really popular, and they have all these exclusives, but they're worthless because now they're sending out 1 million boxes a month. Just like Loot Crate and Nerd Block and stuff like that. They flood the market with these exclusive products, and now they're not worth anything. So now they got to bring it back down. So that's why boxes in that kind of middle area, if they can get an exclusive, it's good because now not everyone has it, and now it's sought after, and now eBay is not flooded with that one thing. So it's going to constantly be shifting back and forth. And you're right, people do like that personal touch, but Bobos has clearly said themselves, they're going to stop the company at a certain, not going to stop it, but they're never going to keep growing. They have a limited amount they can do because they found that sweet spot. They found that spot in the middle where they're not flooding, they're not too small, they have money, but it has that personal touch. And that's kind of the spot boxes have to stay at. If they want to go for more money, they can, but they're going to lose popularity when they get there. So it's constantly going to be moving, and everyone's trying to find that middle ground, which I think Bobo's has done pretty well. And now these other box companies are realizing the same thing.
And see, Bam boxes come out the gate differently. I kind of want to put Bam box and Comic-Con box together starting out, because they're sort of the same type boxes where they're offering like stuff that you would get at a Comic-Con or something like that. But Bam box has done it way better.
But
yeah, Comic-Con boxes.
I think they've almost disappeared now at this point, but
yeah, and Bam box comes straight out the gate with exclusives because of what they've done prior, before starting the Bam box. But they just do it really, really well, and that's why they're top on my list for sure. Well, I haven't tried both. I really need to, but go ahead.
Yeah, the reason they've been able to do that is because they're not technically a startup company, because they have their own business, the auction business that they have. So that's why they were able to, which is a good thing. So they have capital and backup to start the company, not at ground zero, but at the middle spot. And it's beneficial to them because things that they don't sell on their website, they can put into the boxes and it becomes amazing. So they have incentives, and they're good at getting in contact with people, getting signatures. It's what they do, which works out really well because no other box does that. So they really set their own spot in the market. So it's a really good thing. But yeah, they've been doing an awesome job. I really like them too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, they're gonna. It's interesting. I mean, you mentioned like the top two. I think if we're talking in terms of market share, the top two still have it. Just because they've been around for the longest, they have the biggest contacts, they have the advertising budget behind it, like Glenn was talking about. So it's still Loot Crate, Nerd Block, and stuff like that. I mean, personally, Loot Crate would still be in my top 5, but I wouldn't call them like top 2. But then
that's what I'm saying.
What's that?
And that's what I was saying. It would be in my top 5 as well. It just wouldn't be the top 2 for me.
No. Yeah, I mean, there's so many others that are coming out there, and it's interesting to see how everybody's trying something a little bit different, and even if they're more exciting to us right now, they haven't necessarily caught everybody. So we may love Bambox, but I mean, I don't know if y'all saw this. They're now taking a little bit of a price increase, which is totally justifiable and understood, and warranted for what they're providing in their boxes. But that's going to probably put it out of some people's price range. For your Loot Crate person who's really like, I'm good at $20 a month. I could go maybe $5 more and I'd be there. But now it's going to be, what is it, like 29 plus shipping or something like that. Yeah, which for what you get is fantastic. And it's going to help them to keep that going. But that pushes it out a little bit more. And even for some, like, I mean, in the chat right now, Glenn mentioned he wasn't too thrilled with that particular Bambox, and it is all preference. And so I think that for us specifically, we really, really, really like that stuff because it's so different from what we've been getting for the past 2 years from everybody else. And you kind of see where some of those changes come in. And then there's other companies out there that are trying to do really great things, but unfortunately can't make it happen consistently. Like I was surprised to see that Pandora's box just went out like that.
Well, and one thing that I think the big boxes and Funko boxes have done really well is they've created a fear of missing a month. Like they've created this, oh, you know what, I don't want to unsubscribe because the next month might have something really awesome in it, even if it's just one item. I mean, how often do you see, you get those first unboxings going, and half the comments are, oh, shoot, I can't believe I missed this.
Exactly.
I really wanted, I really wish I had gotten that. So those big boxes, I think they can have down months because people don't unsubscribe because they're worried. They're afraid that if they do, oh shoot, the 1 month I unsubscribe, they put out this particular item.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the it's the sub box system in general. Like you're saying, it's all about preference. I may only like one item out of a box because the other things just aren't my preference. It doesn't make them bad items. It's just hard to know about it every month, and it's I think that's the one thing that I think is so difficult for a lot of consumers out there is they pay the money, but a lot of people don't necessarily get that it's it's a mystery. It's a gamble, and that's part of the difficulty is you're not going to like everything, and you're not expected to like everything. I don't think, I mean, I know you want to put out a great box. It's a little bit different when you're doing something like a Bobos, which is completely custom, or even like the Hero Stash now, which is dedicated solely on one hero. But if you're doing a general theme that covers a certain genre, there's no way you're expecting everybody to like every item because you can't like everything like that. Mostly. I mean, I kind of like most things, but,
Well, it's funny, I had a question just today, that was, hey, is X going to be in your box? Are you going to have this in your box? I'm not going to tell you. It's a mystery box. Right? We'll wait for those first unboxings, and you give your hints and your clues or whatever, and you try to, there's a fine line between creating the hype to get people to want to subscribe to your box, and then not to just to say it's going to have X, Y, and Z, which you can go buy yourself. Right?
Which Nerd Block has been doing nonstop lately. I mean, it's just spoiler after spoiler after spoiler, and they're getting more and more and more. This most recent horror block. What?
Go ahead, John, and I'll jump on after you, because.
Yeah, they've been doing it even more, and it's like at a fever pitch right now because this most recent horror block, I find it hilarious because it's exactly the items that I said in my last horror block would be in this one. So I was like, ding, ding, ding. But they've already announced 3 items that are going to be in there. They told where the 2 pops are coming from. They told what the Turbo Kid item was. I don't want to spoil it in case anybody here hasn't seen that email is trying to avoid those things. But that's what they're doing is they're just telling you everything that's in the box and try and grab people in there. And it kind of makes you wonder, are people with that company specifically, or with the length of time they've been with that company, starting to get a little bit of fatigue in the not-so-great products, or what?
I think this is kind of hit a nerve with me because this week, for the first time ever, Funko, Marvel Collector Corps, however you wanted, did a full unboxing of this month's Marvel Collector Corps before they ship the box out. Now, we're supposed to be getting a curated experience. It's supposed to be something that's supposed to be a mystery sub-box, yet you as a company literally just gave away everything before the box was even shipped. I understand, like, say a week after you shipped it, somebody's already got the boxes, so you could go ahead and do that. But you do a full-out unboxing for everybody to see of a box a week before you ship it.
I almost wouldn't have had a problem with that if they had done that before they cut off orders. But why would you do an unboxing between cutting off the orders and shipping the boxes?
I'll tell you exactly.
An entire section of your customers.
I'll tell you exactly why they do it. I've always said this about Funko. Always. Funko is money hungry. They always have been. It shows in the corners they cut for their products, like the paint job they do. They cut corners all the time, always, because they do good stuff, but their main priority is money. They did that on purpose because they realized the people that have already subscribed that want the mystery have already paid the money. Now they can get people with their own unboxing, and then they can get people that see that and want that and still have time to order. So they get both sides of the market. And they don't care that they screw over the people that want a surprise because they just care about getting the money and selling the product.
But didn't they do that
I completely agree.
after they cut off the orders? That's the thing that I don't know.
It might have been, Glenn. It might have been after the orders. But either way, it makes no sense. One, if I would have known beforehand that a specific item in the box was going to be in there, not that it's horrible or I don't like it, I would have not gotten this box. Not to say that it's a bad box, because I'm not saying that. I don't want to ruin it for anybody. But this wouldn't have been my box. But to do a full unboxing, and I'm not going to do any spoilers or anything. I'm not going to tell you what's in it, but to do a full unboxing of something that nobody has gotten yet, for you to assume that it's okay that anybody would want to see what was in it. Now, a lot of people like to see what's in it. They don't care if it's spoiled for them or not. But me personally, I fight left and right from Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all spoilers until I get my box, because I get my box late all the time. And to have the company do that for me is so crazy to me.
When did you get your box?
No, what I'm saying is I won't get it till like 3 weeks after you get it.
I got mine today.
Okay, so I won't get mine until 2 weeks from now. But yet,
Okay.
you got yours today, but they've already had a unboxing of it for a week.
Yeah, it was a few days ago, but it's after they cut off orders. So it's not like, hey, we're going to unbox this to get any last-minute people subbing to our box. It's I don't see the point of it, because they're not.
They trolled us. They trolled it.
Yeah, no, there is no cutoff date, by the way. They make this cutoff date, but you can still buy the original Avengers box from the company and every box after that. So they put these cutoff dates to give this like massive scare to make you feel like you have to buy it by a certain point, but you can still get them. And every time I see Funko at like a convention, at a con, they have boxes just sitting there. You don't have to pay for shipping, and you can just buy it as many as you want. So there's technically a cutoff because they have to get a certain amount of money. It's just a business thing, but they still do that because people can go back and get that now.
And to be a little selfish on the thing, you've literally cut out every single YouTuber that tries to unbox your box. There's no need to now because you've done it, which is crazy to me, because they send free boxes to people for them to unbox it. Now there's no need to do that.
Yeah,
what'd you say, Johnny?
You can't. So every time, I'm not going to get on it, but every time they do one of those, or they talk about what's in the box and stuff like that, all the comments below are, like Glenn was saying, either I missed it, or can you still buy this one? Can I still get this? And like Beardy's saying, you can still get it. So why not wait till later? Let's do it now. Who cares what everybody cares about the box? Let's just push it on out there. And, by the way, we're accepting orders for next month. So why not order early?
Exactly. Now, do we think that they're going to keep doing that? Are they going to do that for every Funko-related box now?
If they do that for every box, why would I subscribe? Why don't I just wait till the Funko company unboxing and then decide if I want the box?
I agree.
Yeah, I guess you can technically, but I think it'll be based on the money again. If it seems to work for them and it seemed to have made more money and got more subscribers, then they will. If it seems to decrease the numbers, then they won't. Like, they're not stupid. They're trying to make more money. If they do, they will. If they don't, they won't. So it depends on how well that works. And I don't think Funko, as far as I'm concerned, I don't know if they send out free boxes for unboxings, do they?
Well, it just depends. But yeah, I mean, you can have stuff sent to you. But I mean, it just depends. I'm not. When I said that, I wasn't really necessarily thinking of Funko, and I shouldn't have said that. But I mean, you know, it is what it is. To me, it's just it's kind of kicking dirt in everybody else's face.
Yes and no, to be quite honest. I kind of feel you on that one, but at the same time, it really doesn't, though, because you will have to admit, the people that watch, like even the people sitting in this chat room, the people that watch our channels, typically don't do it just to see what's in the box. Because if you Google that box, we're probably not the first ones to pop up. There are people with millions of views that pop up first, so people will still come to us because they want to hear our personal opinion, because they watch our channel, they're friends of ours, we get in contact with them. So it is kind of smack in the face, but it shouldn't really technically affect unboxers too much, to be quite honest.
I can agree with that.
Yeah, most of our videos are not just taking items out of the box there. Hey, this is what I think of it.
Yeah.
I can agree with that. Good choice of words there, Court.
It's more about the subscribers who, you know, once Funko puts that out the day of, that spoiler countdown starts immediately, and you're bound to see it pop up on Instagram or whatever. Yeah.
Yep. Indeed. Next topic.
Getting back. Well, I want to get back to Hero Stash because I want to know like in this day and age, because we have so many boxes and so many people vying to be in those top spots, or trying to at least, what is, and you might have touched that on a little bit already, but what is like your one thing that's going to set you apart? Like, what are you wanting Hero Stash to be for people to go, that's my box?
Here's kind of my goals. Number one, I have no illusions about a certain subscriber rate or how many boxes I'm going to sell. I sell 75 boxes a month, and I make $5. I'm happy. It's giving me something to do. It gives my young niece and my sister, who's a stay-at-home mom, gives her something to do during the day. This is a project that I love, just like making YouTube videos. Regardless of how successful it is, I know I kind of talked about a lot of the negatives and the things that were irritating, but it's a project that I've had a lot of fun doing, and if I can keep doing it, great. Regardless of how popular it is, I'm not vying for a top spot, believe me. But my main goal with the box is to be able to provide things that it's very simple, and it sounds like it's a simple concept that I should have more to it, but I want stuff in my box that you're not going to find in your box. And the kind of the built-in advantage I think I have is I've subscribed to so many boxes, just like all of us. I can see, oh, I've never seen that before. Oh, I've never seen that in a box before. Let's put it in this box. So it sounds like a really simple concept, but that's what it is. It's I want to find things. And did we do that 100% in this first box? No, because I ran into things like vendors I wanted I couldn't get. I had to get some things last minute. Those growing pains that you have in the first box or two. But that's my ultimate goal is I want people to open the box and say, oh, I've never seen this before. This is neat. And I've always done my YouTube unboxings and reviews from the perspective of, and by the way, Court, we haven't told you this directly, but you were my direct inspiration for doing YouTube videos, and the fact that I have 3,000 subscribers almost is a direct result of you, and you totally inspired the way I do it. So anyway.
You're welcome.
Absolutely. My perspective on unboxings has always been not so much on the value part of it, not so much on the dollars, but do I like it? Is it something that I find fun? Is it something, yeah, we could all go out to Hot Topic. We could all go out to, various places and get a lot of the stuff that we find in the boxes, but is it cool? Is it fun? Is it something that I would get again the next month? So that's ultimately what I'm looking for.
Yeah, I mean, I approach it the exact same way as pretty much anybody knows. I have zero knowledge and information that I provide in any of my unboxings, contrary to you in Court. I'm just like, oh my God, this does this fun thing. So I'm totally about the enjoyment of it all, and I always have been. But I'm really curious, just from your perspective, having seen a lot of YouTube videos and a lot of unboxings, and some of them can get a little bit dicey, unfortunately. I mean, are you nervous about that? Seeing people unbox it? What if they don't like it? How are you feeling about that? I mean, I'd be concerned if
I'm a ball of stress about that. But again, I'm trying to keep it in the back of my head that I'm not looking to have this be my full-time job. It's just not realistic. I want to put something together that people will enjoy, that people will feel is worth the $24.95 or whatever. But it doesn't have to be, it's my first month. I need that feedback. And it's just like anything else, anything else, any other way that you deal with the public, I need the feedback to make the experience better moving forward. If I'm gonna be afraid of, this box sucked, it wasn't worth the money for it. If I'm gonna be afraid of that, first of all, any comments like that I can blow off. But if it's constructive and it's I really would have liked to see this, or this didn't seem to be something that was unusual that I expected from this box. I'm going to take that feedback well, because I know that future boxes will be better, and it's just about a constant cycle of feedback back and forth.
That's great. Real quick, BGG in the comments was asking if there's any news of the cost of international shipping. I know you touched on that a little bit because the shipping charges, you don't really get a break at your size, and also whether or not you sold out of the first boxes.
Did not quite sell out of the first boxes, which is why I have extra of 1 or 2 products. And I think that's a direct result of the shipping issues. When we're planning this all out, and again, this first month to me is all about lessons that I'm learning, right? One of the lessons I learned is that what we tried to do was we wanted to be able to ship this box internationally. It was important to me because such a large part of my community that watches my videos and follows me on Facebook and interacts with me, the ones I consider my friends online, a lot of them are overseas. So I wanted to have that opportunity for them to get this box somehow. That being said, I found out very, very quickly that there's a reason that a lot of U.S. boxes do not ship overseas at all. And that's directly a result of how high shipping is. When I'm shipping 75 to 100 boxes, I don't get any kind of break on international shipping. So, if you're in the U.S. and you take a 30-pound box down to the post office to try to ship it to somebody overseas, how much does it cost? That single box is the same as if I were to ship 100 boxes. I'm not at that range where I can, do 1,000 boxes and get a pretty good deal, even domestic shipping. So what I tried to do was to base our shipping on the real area where somebody lives. So if I'm in Nevada, I'm in Las Vegas, so if I were to ship it to Reno or ship it to Los Angeles, it's a lot less than to ship it to Atlanta or, obviously overseas. So I set it up to where you're paying what the actual shipping is. Well, next time, whatever, next box is going to be a flat rate to the U.S. And I'll probably have to do real-time shipping internationally. I have a couple of international subscribers, but again, they're paying out the wazoo for shipping. Unfortunately, there's just nothing at the moment that I can do about it till I can come up with something to where I'm going to get some kind of bulk discount. I wish I had an answer for that. But it's honestly, if you're in the UK or you're in Norway, you're paying double the cost of the box to ship it. Or as much in shipping as you do pay the box, and that's just the only way I can do it this first time out. So, and I know Bobos has run into this too. They just had this big announcement where, hey, we get it. People want our box internationally. We're going to try to work something out on an individual basis, and we'll tell you what the shipping is. But again, that shipping is not going to be that much cheaper either. So, it's definitely a problem, and it'd be nice to be one of the big boys and be able to ship that stuff overseas pretty easily, or a lot more cheaply. But it's an issue that I can't avoid at the moment.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, every box, like you said, faces that. So it's interesting. Rusty, you were mentioning earlier you wanted to talk something about
affiliate.
Yeah, the affiliate programs or referral programs. I know that some of us have issues with some of the companies' referral programs, and it doesn't really work, and you don't really get the credit for somebody using your affiliate code or referral code. Me specifically, going back to the bandbox, just because I've been dealing with them lately, and I've been in contact with one of their customer service reps. I wasn't getting any of my referral codes or my affiliate codes. When they would use my code to get the box, I didn't get anything. And I was just checking in on that, and she said that they were having issues with their system doing that, and that they had been in a meeting and spoke about actually changing it from getting like these points where it would go towards the box to actually cash. And I think, Johnny, you mentioned that they do that already. So they've changed it, or
bandbox, right?
Yeah.
It's I just went on their website page, and all the way at the bottom it says like become an affiliate, and it had like a little like line there. So I clicked it, and it took me to this program affiliacy or something like that. And I just signed up for it, and it gave me a link, no discount code. So I think that may be where some of the differences are. But it gave me a link, and I sent that out, and just works like cash. And they pay out at $25, and it goes into your account, and it works perfectly. So yeah, I was surprised when you brought that up, but yeah, they have one, and it's working.
See, I don't. She didn't tell me about that, so I need to check into that. But I will say, just on with most of the companies, when you have a referral code issue or the affiliate program's not working, you really don't have that great customer service. But with Bandbox, it's been amazing. Like, she's got in contact with me. She's answered every one of my questions. I told her we were going to talk about it on Geek Talk. She wants to know how it's going to go and what our thoughts on the situation is. So, but I know that, you know, each one of us at one point has run into that problem. So, what's your thought on it, Court?
Yeah, I've had lots of problems with that. All the companies have had it. I started out with Loot Crate. It took them 1 year to give me my first credit for the boxes. 1 year. And I contacted them again and again, and they're like, oh, yeah, it'll be fixed next week, no problem. And I'm like, okay, and then I keep contacting them. 1 year it took them, and now I have like 10,000 credits, so it's like free for life now. But that whole first year I got nothing. And the same thing with NerdBlock. They have an affiliate program where they pay out cash too. It's a small percentage. But now NerdBlock has ads on every one of my videos. They've taken over all my videos, so when you click on mine, an ad of theirs comes up with their own affiliate link. So no one's going to use mine because they have their own affiliate link that you click on. So I don't get anything now.
What?
Wow. That's bizarre.
Yeah, so they kind of commandeered it.
Can they do that? Like, how do they even do that?
That's
so
crazy.
How on YouTube to get ads, these companies have to kind of seek you out and make partnerships with YouTube, and they say, hey, we want them featured on this person's channel or these kind of channels. You don't get a say in it. It's regardless of you, and that's how you get paid through YouTube. It's the click-through rate of people that click that ad and then goes through YouTube. So NerdBlock ads play on my videos, and you just click on the ad, and that's their own affiliate link. So it's like, who would go into the description and get my affiliate link when it's easier to just click the ad that's playing? So they get their own credit, and I get paid through YouTube, but like a penny or something like that.
Are you with a multi-channel network, or are you just on monetization from YouTube?
I'm just monetization from YouTube.
Okay, yeah, maybe that's how they're getting it a little bit easier. Because I'm with Maker Studios, and they pool together smaller channels, and they, you work with the companies like that to put ads on things that make sense, of course, but they get a better click-through rate, so it may not be something that they're able to do just like that. So it might be something to look into. I know there's a lot of YouTubers in the chat too, so I mean, that's just the way that I've worked with it.
I've been trying to look into that too, because I get emails all the time about people that want to do partnerships, and I just haven't done it yet because I don't even know what to look for. Like, I don't know who to trust. Like, I have no idea. But for some, I probably I just don't know where to start.
No one. Trust no one.
That's what I've been doing. That's what I've been doing.
Maker works pretty well for me, and I'm surprised that you're not. But I would suggest trying them out.
How do you spell it?
I mean,
M-A-K-E-R.
I have a. Oh, go ahead, John. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was saying it's Maker Studios, Max Maker Studios. I think they're owned by Disney or something like that, and they're one of the bigger ones, and they've worked great for me. So I would suggest looking that up.
Okay.
I am under Asafin Network, and they're huge as well. They got like crazy amount of people under them, but I hate it.
Why?
Hate it to no end. And by the way, I've asked to be out from under them multiple times, and they've refused me. But because they literally, you have to check into it. I was very ignorant to the behind the scenes of it all. So when I agreed to it, I was just got to maybe 400 or 500 subs or something. And they were like, we looked at your channel, we like it. Let's, we can help you make more money. Nothing that they've done's helped me make more money. It hasn't significantly jumped in subs, which to me doesn't matter. But I mean, that's the whole point of getting in with a program like that. But they take like an ungodly percentage of your whatever you make on YouTube, which I don't. Obviously, we're small channels, we don't make a lot anyway. But they automatically cut off the top of that when you're with one of those programs. So and like I said, I have literally probably every week have asked to be out of the contract with them, and they refuse me every single time.
Are you under contract though? Is it like a year contract or something?
It's always a contract, but well, yeah, it's a contract. You have to sign, like electronically sign with them. But it just depends. You have to read the fine line because some of them are 1 year, but most are 5 years, and that's how they get you. But yeah, it's a big thing. Now, don't get me wrong. Not all the networks are bad. There are some good networks that there's one called Full Screen. I heard that's okay. But yeah, you have to do your homework on them because it's a big deal because they start taking that right off the top.
Yeah, that's why I haven't done it yet.
Yeah, Jimmy's with Maker, and he's like my YouTube guru, and he like when I mentioned that I heard from them, he was like, yeah, he told me all about the differences and stuff like that, and I looked through it, and the cost per click is good, and the revenue through is good, and it's been really good for me. But I mean, that's just kind of depends on who you're working with, so.
Yeah, and I might have should have waited on them because I got. And by the way, Aspen, it's called Broadband.net or something is who actually owns it, but they have like millions and millions of people under them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like they're a huge network, but I don't know. I mean,
yeah, when you have those networks, and when I first started out, I had networks contacting me when I had 25 subscribers. And 15 videos. Those are the ones that you kind of watch out for because really, do they really want me? Is this, just kind of spamming as many YouTubers as possible and seeing what hits you can get? The ones you seek out because you've heard of them seem to be the better ones, the ones that I've heard better things about.
I should have done that, but I was stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had no clue initially. That's where my first one came out because it was somebody who did reach out to me, and I messaged Jimmy and I was like, "Do you know about these people?" He was like, "Don't sign anything with them." So I was like, "Cool, that's awesome."
Nice.
So y'all want to see if there's any questions?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can ask a few.
Anybody? See if anybody in the chat has any questions for us. Maybe not. While we're waiting for a question, anybody else have anything y'all wanted to go over?
I'm good.
I don't think so.
Oh, here's one. Stephen Higgins had asked earlier on for Glenn if you guys would ever consider doing something like a lesser known character or not quite as in the cultural milieu, maybe like a Ghost Rider box, of course.
Well, another little behind the scenes to kind of answer that is when we're coming up with future heroes that we want to pull. We want to say, hey, out of these 4, which would you like to see the most? We're basing those 4 on the research that I'm doing as far as what kind of items I can find for a box. So if we have a hero like Ghost Rider, it would depend on how many things that I could find that I thought were cool that I wanted to curate. I'm not just going to throw a random keychain or a dog tag that we've seen everywhere, right? So it kind of depends on the items that I can find. I've got a huge master list of characters, and this is from comics and movies and TV and all sorts of different realms that I'm constantly looking. Okay, do I have my 5 or 6 items that I really want to put in this box? To be able to, so that's the future proofing of it. But again, I'm open to anything as long as I think it's cool and I can find it.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then also in the comments, food for thought. There's going to be plenty of Power Ranger stuff in the future. So
that's the other thing is the heroes, and I know Hero Crate did this too. But yeah, I focus on individuals, but something like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or the Power Rangers, obviously I wouldn't break those up. You know, it would be a team kind of thing in that area. And I'll make an announcement now. Our next box is Supergirl, so if you guys are interested in that, we'll be
Cool.
opening that stuff up. Depending on when we want to get this next box out. So it's kind of a little spoiler there for everybody that's here right now.
Very cool. What's that?
That's the worldwide premiere. You heard it here on Geek Talk.
Yes, Supergirl. Very cool. So a couple more questions that popped up. British Geeky Guy asked if we're going to see a Fabio look for me. No, you will not. Keeping my clothes on. Thank you very much. More importantly, it's been a while since we've kind of talked about this, but Derek Tyler asks, what 3 boxes would you recommend the most? And I know that we all have kind of different interests and things like that. But who wants to go? If you had 3 boxes, which ones would be the ones you would recommend the most?
I might have to pull myself out of this question.
Understandably. Or you can pick Hero Stash. How's that?
Okay, besides that.
Besides that.
I actually cut down my subscriptions quite a bit just because, not a conflict per se, but, my reviews being so, or my videos being so review heavy, I didn't want to look like, okay, I'm going to bring down box X to build my own up. But, I know everybody has their thing about Funko, but I've not gotten a bad box from them. And, it's tough not to go with those 3 because every other box I've seen, including Bambox, I didn't really like the second box from Bambox. It was fine, and all the other boxes have been great. But everything is so up and down that picking 3, and then as soon as I pick 3, those 3 will have it down month next month. And I'll be like, why did I pick those 3? Those aren't my favorites anymore. So, it goes up and down so much. That's hard to pick for me anyway.
Yeah, I have to say something pretty similar. Not because I'm the biggest fan of Funko or those franchises, but only because, speaking obviously, obviously my answer depends. Everyone's answer depends on what you like, but it would be easier to go with things that are more specific. Boxes that do stick to a specific character. The Funko boxes, because it's a specific franchise, it's either Marvel, DC, or Star Wars. Not everyone likes all 3, but between the 3 of them, you probably have one that you like all the time. So it's just the fact that you would kind of know what to expect. Whereas, honestly, I've always liked Loot Crate. I really like Loot Crate DX. That's my favorite one. But like you said, it's up and down. My tastes are very eclectic, so I always like Loot Crate because I like just about everything. I just like quality, and they seem to give that. But for just a general statement, I would probably still pick the Funko ones just because it's more specific and you know what to expect.
Are there general no-theme boxes anymore?
Any what?
Like general boxes that don't need themes anymore? Those seem to have kind of gone to, unless they're custom. I guess doesn't really have a theme very much, but.
I never notice, honestly, because I never pay attention to themes because it doesn't matter. Because it's like, when you look at the stuff, it always seems random, and they say the theme, and you're like, I guess that's a theme. Like the most recent, what was it, Maze Nerd Block, they did the 80s theme, and then they had Civil War stuff, and then Rick and Morty, and I'm like, that's not even 80s. Like, what's the point? Like, no one cares if you don't have a theme. Just put good stuff in there. Like, who cares?
Johnny, what would your 3 be?
Oh, me? I have a very specific set, or at least 2 specific ones. And typically my options are always the weird ones because I have a more specific set of interests. Cryptic Courier and Parcel of Terror is my favorite box, bar none. Always will be, always has been. It's just that custom, horror element that you're not going to find anywhere else. Seriously, cannot get it anywhere else. It's all handmade. So that's my number 1. My number 2 would probably be Big Ol' Box of Stuff. It is everything I want, and it's according to the list of options that I choose, and the value's always been fantastic for me. I've always been impressed. It's just an incredibly well-crafted and curated box. I have no idea how they do it or how they continue to do it, but I love it. Number 3 is probably a hard one as far as recommendations are concerned, because right now I really, really, really want to recommend the BAM box because it is so fantastic from what I've seen so far. They've had the most unique and different items in their boxes. I gotta, last month they had the cardboard 3D glasses. 9 times out of 10, a box is going to give you stuff that you can be like, oh, that's cool, and you set on a shelf and look at it. But this is stuff you can actually do things with, and it's really exciting, and there's autographs, and I just have been so impressed with what they've been doing so far. Yeah, I play with that magnetic putty
I've been playing with this the whole time. It's been in my hand the entire time I've been playing with it.
Like, it's so much fun and so interesting. But they are still fairly new, so right now it's great to recommend them. Like, my third place for recommendations would probably be a tie between Bandbox and Loot Crate. I know people don't like Loot Crate, like Beardy was saying, but they are always consistent. Even, I think that the months that are off is probably because you don't like the properties that were in there, or you only liked one property and you got the box for that one property, which is like the #1 rule I would say you should never do when getting a subscription box. If you don't like one property, don't get the box. It's not going to be worth it. You have like a 1 in 6 item chance that you're going to get the really big item is the property you like, and so it's going to be useless to you. So I think that, but for $20 shipped, I mean, that value is just insane. So my #1 is Cryptocurion, my #2 is Bobos, my #3 is probably a tie between Bandbox and Loot Crate as far as my recommendations are concerned right now. No Funko boxes.
Yeah, I would sort of tap into all 3 really. I'm going to say Bandbox just because, like, I'm gonna agree that it's new. There's opinions, so everybody's not going to like everything. Like Glenn said, he didn't like the second box. I haven't seen a box yet that I didn't like per se. There might have been something in it that I didn't thoroughly enjoy. But for the most part, Bandbox has been amazing. And plus, I mean, like you said, the cardboard VR headset thing. That I've never seen that in a box. Period. So that's unique. It's different. Same thing with the putty and the magnet. I've never seen anything like that. Me and my kids play with that all the time. The signed Jason mask, which is ridiculous. Things like that makes Bandbox my #1 right now, and obviously that could change. I would say the #2, I would go with one of the Funko boxes. I'm gonna go with MCC just because it's been out longer, so they've been through more boxes, and they've shown that they've been consistent in that respect. And then I would go with one that I've never gotten personally, but I've watched a million unboxing of, and that's going to be Bobos. Bobos seems to be hitting that sweet spot, like Court said. So that'll be my 3.
Word. Very cool. Well, we've just gotten past the hour mark, and I feel like that was a really good little discussion thing right there to kind of wrap up with. So I'm thinking we'll go around. Any last thoughts? Any last mentions? Court, why don't we go your way?
Nothing really specifically. I like being here. I think we should do this more as often as we can. And we talked about in our personal private message, like we all always can't make it, so let's just keep on trucking on and let's find some good topics and keep this bandwagon going.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
We've all been, I mean, life has just taken all of us in some really weird ways. So, just time-wise, it's been really difficult. So, yes, we will be doing it more often for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I would love that.
Rusty, final thoughts.
Check us all out, guys. We thank y'all for joining us. We thank Glenn for joining us. We've been wanting to get Glenn on for a while, and like Johnny said, it's been a hiatus for about 2 months there because we were all super busy and things. We weren't able to connect to get together. But we will be better at that for sure. We just want to thank Glenn and for coming on and talking Hero Stash with us. And yeah, check us all out. We told you all of our links, and just check us out and follow us. And we get in some crazy shenanigans sometimes. So yeah.
I would say I'll do mine real quick, and then we can let Glenn wrap us up as our special guest. I just wanted to say it's always great doing this with everybody. We will be back more often. We have some guests in mind, and we're kind of lining up, and we'll be making sure to do it. I do want to say that again in the chat, y'all have been awesome in the chat. That's the best thing about this is the interaction that we get from you, and just seeing your opinions, your thoughts. If there are in there, I'm seeing it happen already. People are saying, who out there is on YouTube? Can I sub to you? That's awesome interaction. Please find out the people that are in there, because there are some really great people in there for sure. And I'm going to mention it right there. British Geeky Guy is going to do a giveaway at 400, so make sure you subscribe. Stephen Higgins still has a 600 subscriber giveaway open on his channel. New York Nerd, who was here earlier, has the Wheel of Vinyl that he just announced, which is going to be a really awesome video contest thing that everybody's going to be able to get involved with, so go check that out. So again, work with each other. This YouTube thing brought us all together. It can help to bring you all together, so it's been very, very awesome. I'm going to pass it over to Glenn for your final things, and you can take us on out.
Well, first of all, I appreciate you having me on. I was, you get used to doing YouTube videos where you can have multiple takes and shut down and bring back. But being live was really fun. I really had a lot of fun. It was great talking about the Hero Stash. Again, my idea wasn't to promo it, but it was to just kind of give a little behind the scenes on what kind of experience I'm having being a creator versus on that side of it versus just the YouTube side. Speaking of YouTube, I'm coming back. I've taken about 3 weeks off, but got some boxes coming in, got some reviews that I'm going to be doing on the channel again. So Middle Age Kid is coming back. Video-wise, and I hope you watch, and I'm excited to see unboxings coming up here within the next week or so.
Awesome. Well, thanks everybody so much. Glenn, thanks to you for joining us. It was a pleasure. We will see y'all on the next installment of Geek Talk.
Peace.
Thanks.